All right, today is August the 11th, 2025. We bought this truck. I'm gonna put it up on the screen if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was August the 8th or August the 9th, which means our 1-year warranty on the body expired a few days ago. And in doing the research for this video, I see that the warranty for our RL series trash truck is 1 year major structural, 1 year non-hydraulic replacement parts. So that makes me think that this issue, even if I was inside the 1 year warranty, since it's probably hydraulic, as we'll explain, it wouldn't have been covered anyway. Today, I have found an issue with our garbage truck. The way this works is there's an ejector blade that pushes back. At the very beginning of the day, you bring it all the way back here. As you pick trash, this sweeper blade goes like this, and the slide goes up and down. So I've made videos showing the motion before, but basically it's sweeping and pulling the trash up. Pinching the trash between those three components is what compacts it. Eventually you'll get to a point where the slide and the sweep or packer blade, they won't go all the way up. They'll start stopping sooner. They'll trip out. And that's because they are no longer strong enough to push the trash against the ejector blade. When that happens, I have to come over here and manually move the ejector blade forward so there's more space for the slide and the sweep to pack trash. And again, that's how you pack all your trash. The issue is today we are 60 stops in and not once has the slide or sweeper tripped out. And normally it does it around 50 stops. The other issue is I have not moved this up once manually today, but it is all the way up here, which is about, so it's about right there, which I guess isn't terrible, but normally it never moves up that far on its own. I'm looking for obvious things like a busted cylinder hose, you know, so it's not keeping pressure, because the cylinder hoses are bad, but I don't see that anywhere. The connections look good. Obviously I can't crawl up in there because it's dirty. I'll have to do that later today, but I mean, the hoses themselves don't look bad. And where these cylinder hoses come into the valve body, there's no leaking. So it's not, there's a physical issue with the connections on the ejector cylinder from what I can see. But I am gonna cycle this trash through and see if we can see anything visibly wrong. The other thing that it could be, that first stage of the cylinder is almost fully contracted, the opposite of extended, whatever. So if there is an issue, it could be that that cylinder is bypassing somehow, and that could potentially be something internal that I wouldn't see. I don't know. I'm gonna put you right here so you guys can see this and you can see this. Hopefully I don't destroy the GoPro, and hopefully we're able to see what is being pushed. My thoughts are this is the culprit. Okay, so I ran over here and I definitely saw the blade come back. So for some reason that is the issue. This blade is not holding pressure against the other components. That's what I'm thinking, but I could be wrong. We're gonna hope we can get through the route as best we can today. Tomorrow we've got a smaller route, so if we can get through today, hopefully we can get through tomorrow, and then that'll give me 6 days to try and troubleshoot everything. Well, 5 technically, and 2 of those are weekends, so really 3 business days to figure out if I need parts or what's going on. So stay tuned. So thankfully there is an engineer at Pac-Mac who, when he saw my videos, he reached out to me and said, hey, if you've ever got any questions, let me know. And so over the past year, I have been bombarding him with all sorts of questions, including this one, saying, hey, you know, what in the world is going on? So let me catch you up. It has been 2 weeks since that very first clip. The next day, Tuesday, it worked the exact same way until about halfway through the first stage, and then it started working normal. The Monday after, so the 3rd day after this issue started happening, it worked just like it used to before. There were no issues. So I thought it was fine. It was fixed. Whatever it was worked itself out. But then Tuesday, it did the same exact thing for half of the first stage again. So it's an intermittent issue that fixes itself and then gets worse. And the very first day I emailed the engineer, he said what it sounds like is sticky valves. So these handles, what they do is they run up all the way to a valve body. I'm going to climb up and show you here. They run up to this valve body. This is where all the hydraulics come for back here. Here's another view you can see. These are the bottom of the valves. So when I move these levers up and down, you can see that valve moves up and down. Same with these other ones down here. Now normally these valves, you can see they're in a detent position where it stays pushed in, and based on the pressure it will kick itself out. He said those valves are sticking, which means that the slide and packer are staying activated for longer than they should, which means that they're producing more pressure, I guess pushing power than they should. And that's why the ejector plate wasn't providing any resistance. I guess technically the ejector plate was providing resistance, but it's just that the slide and packer were pushing harder than this thing. And so that's why on the first day, the entire first stage gave no resistance. And then the next day it stopped there before it got resistance. And then Monday it was back to normal pretty much the whole day. And then Tuesday it did the same thing where it went all the way back to there. He said it's most likely because water gets in here and causes them to stick with some rust. So what we're gonna do is WD-40 spray these bottom ends. There's some caps on the top that we're gonna undo and spray those as well. Don't know if this is the right kind of WD-40 to use. Don't really care. I don't think it'll hurt. If it does, we'll find out together. By the way, here's one thing that's been bothering me from day one. Why would you put that on a brand new truck? Like, these threads are all rusted out. And so I'm trying to figure out, did that happen in the year after this truck was built before I bought it? Because I think it was built about a year before I bought it. Or did they just use bad stuff from the factory and whoever put it together just didn't care? But I mean, this is... Look at all that scale. I really should probably clean that up right now since I'm out here. Cleaned it up a little bit, but you can see we still got rust here. It's at an awkward angle too. I think I need to peel back a little bit more of that. Finally getting back to good metal right here. That's probably as good as I'll get it. There's just a ton of pitting there. I don't know why that would be okay to ship out like that, but hopefully we'll bide a little bit more time. Far from good, but good from afar. We'll let it dry and hit it with one other coat. Here's the issue with these caps that I have to take off. If you're sitting there saying, man, it's kind of hard to see, Brad. Yeah, they're in there. There's not enough room to put a socket on them. All the hoses are in the way. So I had to buy a bunch of these oversized SAE wrenches. I've got like one to, I don't know, 1 in a half maybe, and that's what they are, is 1 inch. But you can see I've only got enough the throw between these two pipes. This is all I can do. So I think I'm gonna be here a while. A ratcheting one would have been best, but I didn't know what size I needed. And those ratcheting ones are very expensive, so I didn't want to just buy one at a time. The other thing is we got to do this twice, and it's just so awkward to get to these. I'm going to do a wide shot so you can see me. So anyways, that's what I'm doing here. And that engineer's thought was that water is getting in here and it's causing some sticking as well. Oh, this is terrible. Specifically, he said it was rusting. There could be rust in here. I guess another thing that works against me, he said, is the fact that my truck sits for so often. You know, we only use it 2 days a week. Most trucks are going to be running 5 days a week, maybe even more. So things that stick and maybe get rainwater in them, here I've got 5 days for them to, you know, work on themselves and rust, and which my answer, with all due respect, would be, couldn't you design it so that water doesn't pose that issue, so no one has to worry about it? But you know, that's neither here nor there at this point. Yeah, so I think I'm doing like a 1/16 of a turn at a time. A ratcheting 1 inch is definitely what you need for this job, and that's not what I have. So I guess I should just be thankful these are 12-point wrenches, because otherwise I might not even be able to turn it at all. But the hoses are just, and I mean, you know, small garbage truck, you got to cram everything in, so it is what it is. But it is annoying. Hopefully it'll get to a point where I can, it's feeling looser, so maybe I can spin it by hand at some point. Oh yeah, here we go. Thank goodness. So this is just a little plastic cap. I'll make sure I don't lose that. Can I even see anything in here? No. Let's see if you guys can. It looks like some kind of metal. I'm guessing it's just the top of the valve, but he's saying shoot some down in there. Some WD-40 down in there is the diagnosis, or the prescription, I should say. But first we got to get this other guy off. So this is another side of, you know, if you're looking to start a trash pickup business, this is a kind of an important thing to realize, is that if you're starting out small as a mom and pop, it's going to be you who does this, right? Or you're going to be taking it to a mechanic or the dealer. I don't know what the dealer hourly rate is. I would guess at least $150 an hour. And again, I'm out of warranty, so this isn't something that would be covered in the 1-year warranty. And they'd probably just say, well, it's because of the way you use it. It's not anybody's fault but your own, because you only use it 2 days a week. So I have no faith in taking things to the dealer to get it fixed, especially because the dealer's in Tampa. So that's not going to help me either. But I've gotten a lot of emails from people wanting to start businesses, and they ask me about how I like the truck and stuff. And it's a good truck, it does the work, but you just have to be okay with the fact that it's going to be you out here on a Sunday morning greasing everything and fixing it. And it's unfortunate, but I've got some things that I need to tend to on this truck that you wouldn't think 1 year in you'd have to worry about. I'm not sure if they're good enough to make a video out of. Let's see if we can do that by hand now. Okay. Now here's something else I want to show you. So here's an example of the things that I'll have to go back and fix from the factory a year in. This is what it looked like from factory, but over time these zip ties have let this is a hose sleeve. This gives something to rub on that isn't the hose, because hydraulic hoses, they move and jump when they get energized. And so if you don't keep them screwed down, if you don't keep them covered up, they'll move around and they'll rub on things and eventually wear a hole through them. I can show you an example of that. See this? The wear on this paint, That is from the slide moving up and down and contacting these hoses. I think, I can't tell if the light's gonna cooperate with me, but you can see this sleeve is fatigued right here. Maybe the lighting's better on this side, but you can see how it's worn out right there. That's because of friction. And so if you don't have those sleeves, you're gonna rub through your hoses. And the idea is you'd rather wear out sleeves that you can replace. But see how they're all creeping up? This one's good, this one's not. It's creeped up there. This guy's creeped down all the way here. This one's creeped down. You can see those ones have creeped up. So I'm gonna have to go back through and redo all of these that have hoses, hose sleeves on them. I'll have to redo those with hose clamps because those zip ties are slipping. Here's something else that I'm sure they didn't do on purpose, but there's a giant puddle of water right there and along there because of the design of this. They made this a low spot, and I'm fairly certain I'm level, but it holds water. And so every time we drive down and to the right of that garage, this water, it all funnels right down into the air cleaner. Like, I swear, it looks like they almost designed it so that water would do its best to get into the air intake system. So there's just little wonky things like that that you discover during your operation where you're like, well, to me that seems dumb. Could it be better? Maybe, but at the end of the day, the garbage truck still does the work. And so all these other things are minor annoyances, but as long as it gets the job done, to me, that's the most important thing. I don't mind fiddling around with stuff like this if it's still packing trash. Also, to get up here and work is not really that safe either, or easy. So that's another thing you need to take into consideration. The bigger a garbage truck you have, the harder it's gonna be to work on. And this is a very small one, but you still have to climb up onto the back of it. You have to lean onto the garbage truck. I will say one thing that annoys me about Pac-Mac is they advertise that they have, what do they call it, like grease from the floor systems for their bigger trucks. And one time I said, hey, that's great. Do you think you could extend that to the smaller trucks? And their response was something like, well, the smaller trucks you can already grease from the floor because they're smaller. And I said, well, does this look like to get these grease fittings here, these ones down here, those ones right there, you tell me how you're gonna do that from the floor. So I get you can't put expensive systems like grease from the floor on all your trucks, but just say that. Don't try and convince me that what I'm doing right now is greasing this thing from the floor, because it's not. Hopefully just a couple of squirts of this. I really don't know. I don't even know if it's getting in the right spots. And then we'll just, I guess, work the things back and forth a little bit, and then I'll cover them back up. That's probably good enough. Now, I say all this, and I may seem disgruntled, but in all actuality, I'm very thankful that that engineer reached out to me when he did, because I wouldn't have any support system outside of a dealer network without him. So if you're watching this video, you know who you are. Thank you. And I think if I had anything to say to the folks at Pac-Mac, and it's not really their fault for this, because, you know, most people sell through a dealer network, which means the manufacturer makes it, the dealer sells it, and the manufacturer expects you to go back to the dealer for service. The issue with that is that people like me who do all the work themselves, if you buy from someone who has that dealer network model, there's not a lot of support for you. I'm confident that those dealerships, they have like full service manuals that tell you this is the cause for some sticking hydraulics, and you need a ratcheting 1-inch thing, and you know, this is the best way to do it, and this is how you... I just cross-threaded that thing. That's annoying. Or did I? No, I think I did. I guess that's what you get when you use plastic caps. I threaded on by hand right too, but something, when it started getting tightening down, it just didn't like it. Yeah, there's just some thread that's crossing because it's plastic. And the guy I talked to, he said be sure you don't cross thread it either, but I mean, I don't know. All I did was thread it on by hand and it did this, so I really can't control that if that's all it takes to cross thread it. Yeah, that's buggered. Well, we'll see if it tightens down, because there's nothing, you can't fix plastic threads. So that's another instance where, you know, having access to service manuals would have helped me, because it would have said, hey, be real careful. This is our technique for not cross-threading. Hey, now here's the question. Were these cross-threaded from the factory? And is that why I've had this issue? I don't know. There's something to think about. But I would have replacement part numbers for this. I would also have direct access to the manufacturer to get parts. I don't have that. If you buy from someone who has that dealer network, you don't have that. You got to go through the dealer. So I think if I were to ever buy another truck, it would probably be from someone who does like a direct to consumer model, like Pac-Tech. They are a company. They've got a plant close to me in Georgia. I don't think they make the trucks out of there, but they just sell direct to people. And something like that, they're going to be used to the end users doing the work. They're going to have service manuals they can give you. They're going to have dedicated help, so you don't have to hope some engineer reaches out to you because you have a YouTube channel. They're just from day one going to be able to give you the information that you need so that you can work on your truck and troubleshoot it. All right. Yeah, so that was today. It's Sunday. Yesterday the weather was bad and I couldn't finish this video, so that's why there wasn't an update yesterday. But we're done for the day. We greased everything. We're ready for tomorrow's route, and I'll keep you updated on how this truck does. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.